Hi guys, welcome back to the Distinction Factory where we make our mark. And today we are going to be doing some grade 10 maths, some algebraic fractions. A student has given me this question from a past year paper. We can see that it deals with algebraic fractions and equations. And because we've got the pluses and minuses between our fractions, we are going to need to use the LCD method. So obviously now with multiplication, just multiplication, then you can just multiply the numerators, top times top over bottom times bottom. If you have division, you follow KFC, which means you keep your first fraction as it is, you flip the second fraction around, and then you change the sign to multiplication, and then it's easy, we're going back there. And then for addition and subtraction, it's a bit different because we have to find an LCD between our bases. But now before we get to doing all of that, we need to first factorize as much as we can for any of those four types of operations. We need to factorize as much as we can. So I can see that here I've got dots, which will break up into x minus 3, x plus 3. And I see that this has potential to become a x minus 3 if I pull out negative as a common factor. So once I do that, the negative can go to the numerator and it becomes negative 7 over x minus 3. So the reason that happens is when you pull out a negative, your signs just swap. So this now becomes a positive x and this becomes a negative 3. And I just swap them so they look a bit more algebraically decent. And then I can now factorize the next denominator, which is the x squared minus 9. So that will become x minus 3 and x plus 3. Right, so from here, I can now get all my fractions onto one side. So I'll move this guy across and it becomes a positive 7 over x minus 3. And then these kind of just stay the same. So let me just write that out. Okay, cool. So from here, I can now determine what my LCD is going to be. And in order to do that, you just kind of take all of your denominators and multiply them together. So here we've got an x minus 3. And here we've got an x plus 3. Then we've got this x minus 3, but that's already been accounted for here. And same thing with this x plus 3, it's already been accounted for. So now all of our fractions can combine as 1 over one big denominator, because they are now all going to change to look like the LCD. And in order to do that, we're obviously going to need to multiply them by the missing stuff. So this already has the x minus 3, but the thing that's missing is the x plus 3. So this will have to be multiplied by that. Then whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do the same thing to the top as well. This denominator is missing the x minus 3 from the LCD, so we'll multiply it to that. And then same thing to the top. And then this already has both of the brackets, so nothing has to change there, so then nothing changes at the top either. So from here, we can now write this out neatly. And at the same time, I can get rid of my brackets actually. So in the exam, you are going to have to show this step of working in pen. So we can take the 7 and multiply it out. So it becomes 7x and a positive 21. We'll take this 5 and multiply it out. So that becomes a positive 5x and a negative 15. And then that 4 kind of just stays the same. And that's our new numerator. Okay, so from here we can now add and subtract our like terms. So we've got 7x and 5x that are like. And then we've got 21, negative 15, and 4. So the 7x and the 5x add to give us 12x. And then the blues add up to give us a positive 10. Then we can solve it like a normal equation, because what's happened is we've gotten rid of this denominator by taking it across and it becomes multiplication. But 0 times by anything is just 0. So this just stayed as a 0 and we just got rid of the denominator and simplified the numerator. So from here we can take the 10 across and it becomes a negative 10. And then we can get rid of the 12 as a coefficient by dividing both sides. So we end up with a simplified fraction of negative 5 over 6 is equal to x. All right, I hope that has helped you guys. I will catch you in the next video. Thank you.